I don't know why I'm smiling. Just the thought of you all looking and listening to me, this dowdy old lady. Well, I'm a bit dowdy today. I'm a bit subdued, actually. I'm still going through my crisis, as you know. But I'm coping. I'm managing to adapt. You know, these days that we're living in, it's a question of adapting. And I found it's not letting go of the things you realise. It's letting go of the things that you have no control over. I'm having to let go of well, putting something really pretty on because I can't bend down, I can't put shoes on, can't put socks on, haven't got the muscle to bend down. So it's a bit of a frustrating time for me really. So hence I'm not very glamorous today. You don't mind. It's me, I'm a very vain person. Vanity, vanity, all is vanity, said Solomon. And so it is. So I decided I couldn't decide what to talk about today, but I thought I've still got three more house moves actually. So I'm going into the next two from George Street, the glamorous George Street, very upmarket place, which I really love myself in and paid the price. Into the next one, the next two actually, in a very quick succession because I was kicked out of both. No, kicked out the first one. No, I mustn't say kicked out. I must say asked to leave. Anyway, so the next one, the George Street, I had a notice to quit. He wanted me out because I was a nuisance. So I had to find somewhere fairly quickly. And my friend in Barnsley, is right. She helped me to find this cottage I found. It was a pretty little cottage, very very tiny though, very tiny. The only thing about it I liked was that there was a wood burning stove, and I love my fire. I love my fire, and I hadn't had one for some time. So this was a wood burning stove. The room was so tiny, I could only get my leather armchair in, and it was a very tiny settee, and the stove. So we just sit there and just go off with this warm, cosy little place. It was like a little womb, really, but it was very, very cold and very, very damp. I had no cooker when I moved there. I can't tell you why. I think I began to get. Well, I ran out of money, of course. That was the biggest problem. Run out of money, but I also felt that I was getting tired of doing it. Getting tired of doing it, to be honest. And I was sort of forced into every one. I didn't really want to have to leave Georgia. I liked it there, but he was a difficult landlord, so it was time to move on. I believe it was the 2012. That was the time we all started on this very difficult path to ascension. You know, things began to really change, began to hot up. 2012, and that's when my crises really began. You think I've had them up until now? You, oh, wait till you get to Albert Street and Cromwell Avenue. You see, around here it's Lincolnshire, and it was the site of the Cromwellian, and you know, what was his name? Charles. All the battles they had, and all the names, the roads are named after Cromwell or something. So anyway, I was off to where was it? Oh, Albert Street, that's right. Very tiny cottage. I loved it when I saw it. The best thing was to say the fire and the upstairs. The bedroom had been recently done out, and it was just my ideal of bedroom. New carpet, it was cosy, cosy, cosy. The only thing was I didn't realise until I got there that there was a flashing beacon light right outside the bedroom window. There was something in there, and I had to get up in the night and find some curtain materials. The curtains didn't cover it, and cover this light. And of course there were stairs, these windy stairs yet again. Why did I keep choosing these places? They were totally inadequate for somebody of my age with disabilities. Well, I didn't have them then. So there was these stairs, and the kitchen was bleak. There was no, well, the only heating was this fire. So in the kitchen was the damp was incredible. I mean, everything was damp within a week or two. Everything had this mould on it, and I had my huge, lovely pine wardrobe that again wouldn't go up the stairs, so we have to leave it in the kitchen. And all the stuff I had collected, I had nowhere to put it, so I had to keep finding little cupboards and even outside in the shed to put all those bits and pieces that I think each time I do it I'm going to knock get so much, but you always do, don't you? So this was Albert Street, no real garden, and the parking spot was right opposite the house. So there's no real garden. Very hard to get my car in and out. I had what did I have then? Oh, I have some sort of car. At the end I had to get rid of it because it was outdated and wouldn't pass its MOT. So I had to be out a car for quite a while, which is another story. So I managed to get into this place. Two very nice young men got me transported into this place. No, I had no cooker, very, very cold kitchen, and the open fire. That's right, I had to have logs delivered, and they're very expensive. That was the only form of heating I had. I had to have a phone put in. Nearly everywhere I moved, I've had to have a phone put in. I don't know, and it's a very expensive job, you know. It's about, well, then it's about 100 quid. So, and I had no washing line. I had so many things missing. I don't know why I moved there really. I think it was the attractiveness, but it wasn't attractive once I got there, of course, you know. The landlady was a bitch, to be honest. She didn't want me there. As soon as I got there, I'd been there a couple of weeks. I think I'd asked one of these gas things on the ceiling, and she wanted me out. She asked me to leave. I'd been there 2 weeks. She was very unhappy with me. Well, I think the people before had been difficult as well, so it wasn't just me. This stroke thing, I'm starting to drip. It's a good one. I don't know any of you. I don't think I'll speak to you again, probably. I think you'll have a laugh at my expense. Never mind. So, yeah, and it was just, what was I saying about it? I've forgotten now. The woman, that's right, she wanted me out. She didn't like me, and she wasn't a very nice lady. And it's, even now, I know I didn't get the original down payment back. She kept 300 quid of mine. I don't know how I did it, because I was after the bankruptcy thing, wasn't it? But I think I managed to get there on the refund from the flat before, the bond and everything else, you know. So I managed to get there on that money. So I was, you know, a little bit. So when she asked me to leave, I sat there in that damp, horrible kitchen with a horrible pretend oven, damp and nasty, and I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to be homeless. And I suddenly saw a vision of my ex-husband standing in the kitchen. Even he was concerned about me. I had nothing. I had no money at all. I spent it on this house. The bond, the contract, they rip you off for millions, well, not thousands, you know, some people. I didn't know how. Well, of course, eventually after renting, you run out of money. You don't make any money unless you've got a job, of course. And usually people that rent are usually out of work. On the poverty line, I've noticed, because that's why we haven't got a home. So I was sitting there thinking, I've got no money. What am I going to do? It was really a frightening place to be honest. Because I knew that she owed me money. She wasn't going to pay it. The social services were helping me a bit at that time. So I was getting some sort of comfort, but to have no home at all, because I was private renting, you see, then that was going to be quite a challenge. So I just sat there, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with all my stuff, you know? Stuff you collect, you know? And I did go into a money panic, I must admit, because I couldn't borrow money from anywhere, not to start a new place, you know? So it was social services. I had to call on the help of the social services, and actually the lady, she rescued me and she found, no, she didn't find a house, she just provided the funds and we to find a house, sort of thing, you know. And I did find another house quite nearby called Cromwell Avenue. From the great King Albert to the lower Cromwell, and believe me, it was a downgrade in all respects. My mother, and I mustn't say that I mustn't say, but she did give the impression that there are levels to which one thinks on the poverty line. I mean, years ago, women used to earn money. If you're a woman on your own, you would not have survived. You had to become a prostitute, a dressmaker, a seamstress, or a governess. That's all you could do. And now I'm thinking, what can I do? Well, I wouldn't have been able to earn the money I needed to this new property. And I did find a property through the social services. It was called Cromwell Avenue, and it was a really nice, well, she found it for me actually, really nice flat. But again, it was Well, it wasn't me. Ground floor flat upstairs, drug addicts, sex, you name it. And it was upstairs, and they hadn't got carpets, so I could hear all the rumblings and the cries and the screamings and the. One night they were up to something very strange. I could hear her yelling and screaming, no, no, no. And how do I know it wasn't real? Of course they were having it. And I got the police. I won't tell you how many times I had to get the police round to these people upstairs. The police must have got fed up with me. It was that sort of area, common. You know what I mean without saying it. I don't want to sound a snob, but I am really. I mean, you've got to stick to your class, haven't you? I mean, some people are happy like that, but I wasn't. I mean, I've never shared. Not, I did in George Street, but that was different. This was kind of, oh, I don't know. Well, it wasn't a sharing, it was a living with somebody you don't like, because the stairs were right outside my front door. People, you could hear them clanging up and down, and they were outside my door, and upstairs you could hear what was going on, and you could hear every word practically. And they didn't like me, of course, because I was a snob. I was a different class, you see. So anyway, I moved into it. It was a big front room, lovely flat, big front room, big kitchen, little bathroom, and a spare room for my computer and stuff. It was a beautiful flat, really, for nothing. Well, I was a bit. I had a lot of help. That's when I began my writing, well, my more serious writing. So I don't know. It seemed like a new beginning to me. The social lady left the curtains, because you usually don't get curtains and carpets left behind. So I had that all left behind, and it was really lovely. I had a cooker. Someone donated a cooker through one of these services. So all in all, I had a little back garden. Well, I thought I had a back garden, but it turned out we shared a back garden. So you can imagine where that went. Won't go into that at the moment, but the flat itself was fairly okay. I'm just going to check the time. Oh, not too bad. And then I think I got there in September, October of 2013, 14. Things were hotting up esoterically, and I was struggling, to be honest. I was struggling, and then I used to put Christmas decorations, like a wreath on the door outside. It was very pretty. I used to always do it. I'm quite good at Christmases, to be honest. Even though I'm on my own, I do make an effort. And one night I heard this scrabbling and scratching and bumping around, whatever's going on. And the woman upstairs had come down and taken this wreath and thrown it across the garden. So that's where I was at with that flat and those people. You can imagine, it was pretty awful. They didn't like me, and the noise and the things that went on that I couldn't talk about. But I think that was my last place where I really. Well, I think I'd come to the end, really. That was. I don't know what you'd call it, but I just knew I couldn't go on any further, and I was always calling out the police, something or other, and they didn't like me, and it wasn't a verbal battle, but there was this terrible thing going on all the time, and that's why. Did I my car? Yeah, that's right. The chap from the last flat refunded the money, and then my friend Helen, she gave me a bit more to put towards a second-hand car. So I was able to get away from this place from time to time, and then I had to keep writing trouble forms you have to fill out to complain about a neighbour, really filling it out, and well, it just got to the point really I was losing it. I was quite ill, actually, mentally, well, emotionally, whatever. And eventually they could see I was in a lot of distress, and she found the social lady. She found me this place, the bungalow, I think. Was it then? Yes, I think it was then. Yes, that's right. I think this was the next place. So that's where I'm at with that. Those two rapid houses. Oh, when I got there, of course, there's no furniture, nothing like that. I only had my own bed and that tatty settee of mine. And I was very fortunate. I went to a local town, and there was somebody selling off furniture outside the shop, you know, and there's that beautiful, it's here, this unit here for books. She got that for me, and something in the front room as well. So I've always been very, very lucky. I've been looked after by Spirit extremely well. I have. That I've always found what I've needed at the time. I was going to do a video on that, but I haven't got time now. So it's a question of, like, it was complete trust. I was leaving not only a nice home, that I used to have a lovely home in suburbia, beautiful home. I've lost all that, and bit by bit gone down into this place, which is council, common. Well, it's just how it seems to me, because it's not my thing. It's like you have to stay in your vortex, if you like. But you know, your lifestyle, it's very hard to come out of that, and I think a lot of us are having to do that. Downsize, particularly. Losing homes. I mean, look at the stuff happening in the world. I can identify with that, having lost everything. So here I am doing this video. I don't know whether you found me a bit muddly. I have been a bit muddly. I'm obviously not thinking clearly at the moment, so just go along with it and enjoy the ride. Okay, darlings, take care. God bless.